The billions of dollars in cuts to federal spending by the Trump administration has been far-reaching, from eliminating thousands of federal workers across agencies to the dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development. Today, we look at the U.S. Department of Agriculture's move to end two programs that helped schools and food banks buy food from local farmers and ranchers. The USDA has cut more than $1 billion toward these purchases. According to the Associated Press, the USDA said the programs are a legacy of the pandemic and no longer support the agency's priorities. To take a closer look at the impact of the cuts is Dr. Marlene Schwartz, a professor of human development and family sciences and director of the Rudd Center for Food Policy and Health at the University of Connecticut. Welcome, Dr. Schwartz. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
So do we know what the impact will be on children and families from these cuts?
Well, I think it is going to be a problem because these programs supported purchasing local food at settings where it's really important to be able to provide the best nutrition possible. So schools, childcare centers, and food banks, which provide food for low-income families that are having a hard time affording a healthy diet. So the idea of investing in that, I think, is a really smart investment if your goal is to try to improve health and decrease chronic diseases.
So you use the term investment, so I'm going to actually go to that question. The Trump administration, according to the Associated Press, has disrupted some $430 billion in federal funds, and that's, according to the administration, working to root out waste. There was an interesting statistics from the National Center for Education Statistics that said more than a quarter of public schools now offer all students free school meals through state or local initiatives. Why do you think cutting this funding is a problem?
So the National School Lunch Program typically supports the program through national dollars, which are sometimes then combined with state dollars or local dollars. And there's very clear research that the food that children are receiving in schools is the healthiest food that they receive from anywhere. These programs have always been required to follow nutrition standards, and those were even strengthened in 2012, 2013 as part of the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. So any cuts to those programs, anything that's making it harder for them to get fresh ingredients, to do more scratch cooking, is definitely going to ultimately harm children.
You believe, or I shouldn't use the word believe, I believe you've done research on this, the school nutrition environment influences a student's diet outside of the school environment. Can you explain?
So, nutrition education is incredibly important, but I always feel like the most powerful nutrition education is what's on your plate. Mm-hmm. So if you are able to expose children to a variety of fruits and vegetables, to whole grains, to low-fat dairy products, then they are eating that day after day at school. It's going to affect their preferences for healthier foods. And there has been research showing that since the nutrition standards were strengthened, that overall children's diets have gotten better, and these programs are really working the way they're designed to, and yet there's still definitely room for improvement. And so I think that this is why I would really support investing in these programs to make them even better.
My understanding is that you also state that there is an impact to local farmers and ranchers. Explain that these cuts will impact them directly.
Absolutely. So they were the ones who were making the sale. So, this program was brilliant. Whoever came up with it in the first place, this idea that you're investing in a community, that you're investing in the food producers in that community and the schools and the charitable food system. And I can only imagine that when this was announced last fall and people were applying for these funds and hoping to receive these funds, that they planned ahead. And so to have that funding taken away sort of abruptly, I think is going to hurt everyone, but it's definitely going to hurt the people that were planning to sell the products that I imagine, had already started producing.
We haven't talked about food banks, so let's just end on that note. We know that, at least locally, there's been some increased demand among some food banks for more food. What is your concern when it comes to these cuts impacting those food banks?
So the charitable food system, sort of by definition, they depend on donations. So they have some federal funding, they may have some state funding, and then a lot of it is individual donations from the community. So that's all they have to purchase the food and acquire the food that they then provide through their food pantries and meal programs. So I worry that, without these funds, they can't make as, sort of choices about bringing in the healthiest products possible, and they'll be more reliant on simply what's donated, which may or may not be the most nutritious foods.
Dr. Marlene Schwartz, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. We've got more great content for you, from news to the arts to the environment. So be sure to like and subscribe to WGCU's YouTube channel and follow us on our social media platforms for the stories that matter to you.